Correct, yes. And you need to implement this to be successful with your medical device business. And I will show you also how you can learn these in 6 weeks. And if you stay until the end of this webinar, I will offer you a free distribution assessment call to evaluate your business and how it matches with these 3 pillars. So a little bit about myself. Marcel Haan started around 30 years ago in the medical device industry, worked at companies like Centron and Cordis, where I was in advanced R&D, project management, product development. I have a couple of patents to my name. Then I started with Orbis Niche, a startup company, which I worked for 18 years. And since then, I've been working as a consultant for a lot of different companies, helping them with their distribution network, with their sales, their customer sales strategy, regulatory affairs. So quite a lot of departments that I've went through. And let's start with a disclaimer, because I mentioned that you can learn this in 6 weeks, but it doesn't mean that you can implement all of this within 6 weeks. I wish I would have this tool that Sky is using to help you implement everything fast, but you will not become a master in 6 weeks. It will take more, but at least I will give you a solid start on how to quickly build a high-performing medical device distributor network without wasting years on the wrong partners. Because I've seen it that you start with a distributor, he's promising you the moon, he is really believing that he can sell your product, and you only find out after 1, 2, or 3 years that he is not the long-term partner that you were looking for. And you have wasted 3 years, and you need to start again with a new distributor. There are those kind of things you want to avoid. So let's dive into the 3 pillars. The first one is find the right partner. Find the right partners, plural, and because you need several in all the countries. Then pillar number 2 is all about facilitating success, on growing your distributor and your business together. And that's pillar number 3. So finding the right partner. And Sanjay, you and I, we have been in touch with each other, and he said, hey, all the good distributors are already taken. And it's very difficult to find a new distributor. That's what I hear so often. But there is some science to it. If you apply these steps, define the landscape, define your ideal customer profile, find your ideal distributor, and perform your due diligence, then finding the right partners becomes much more easy. And do you want to know how you do that? Let's dive in. The first step is define the landscape. And if you've attended our last webinar with Alain Amonetti, we went into all the details of launching of a medical device. It starts with defining the landscape. Which continent do you want to sell? In which country do you want to sell your product? What is the market size? How many people are having the disease that your product is a solution for? What are the regulatory requirements to get your product registered? What are the reimbursement prices? What are the pricing strategy? What is the competition in that country? You need to have an understanding of the landscape before you start looking for distributors. Then the second step is you need to define your ideal customer profile. In your ideal customer profile, you describe what is the best possible partner for your business. Maybe you are just interested in moving boxes and selling as many products as possible. Well, that's a different type of distributor than someone that is helping you to transform the way that doctors work by adapting a new technology, and you need to help the doctors to train and to educate them. That requires a different type of customer. Or you need to have a distributor that can support you with clinical trials. You need to be sure that you have defined your ideal customer profile so that When you know this, it's easier to find the right distributor. So that's the next step. And then once you have identified that, that is the moment that you start looking for your ideal distributor. And there are a lot of methods on how to do that. Of course, you can visit trade shows. You can visit them as an exhibitor, but you can also visit them as a visitor and try to meet with people. And in one of our masterclasses, we even give you tips and tricks on how you can use trade shows without visiting the trade show and still get benefit from it. Another way is attending industry events, using referrals in your network, or use the competitors' network, because often the best distributors are already taken by your competition. But you don't know if they're happy. You don't know if there are changes going on. So it's good to know what your competition is doing. Then you have the industry directories where you can find potential distributors for your business. You can go to associations and have them help you find distributors. Myself, I've been successful working with Chamber of Commerces in various countries to help me introduce me to the right partners. And another opportunity as well is embassies. The embassy of the country that you're looking for, you can visit them in your own country, or contact the embassy of your country in that target country where you're aiming for. And then you have the online marketplaces where you can position your product and make yourself available that you're looking for distributors. And the last one, but not the least one, is hire experts, hire distributor experts that can help you find the distributors. And they often also can help you defining the landscape, because they know exactly what's going on in a certain country, in a certain area. Then, once you have identified a potential distributor, don't immediately give them a contract. You first want to make sure that the promises they make and that their profile is matching your ideal customer profile. So you go through a due diligence process. First of all, you start with a very quick screening, but if they pass that screening, that's when you move to detailed screening. You can use our due diligence process to have them go through a questionnaire, review all the materials, and that's the moment when you can really qualify your distributor. Once you have done that, that's when you move to the next phase. And the next phase is facilitate success. A lot of people and a lot of MedTech companies are complaining. They're stating that if I have a new distributor, it takes so much time before they really start selling, before they really start ordering my products, before they capture market share. Does it sound familiar with you? That it takes so much time? Well, there is some science to that on how to avoid that. If you use these 3 steps, you can go much faster to market with a proper onboarding process, with a very detailed legal structure and contracts, and last but not least, with training. So let's move into that next part, and that's the onboarding process. And I've put up the picture here from the red carpet. You want to welcome your new distributor with open arms. They need to feel when they start with you that everything is lined up for them to be a success. So on the left side here, you see that you need to align your internal stakeholders. Within your company, all the various departments should be informed that you have a new distributor, and they should know the specifics about that distributor. For example, customer service needs to know who are the contact persons, what are the contact details. Logistics needs to know what are the shipping requirements, how fast do they want their orders to be delivered, are there any export regulations, do I need to have specific documents for customs. Then your supply chain needs to know what is their forecast. Do I have the products available, because you want to avoid going into back orders with a new distributor. Then your finance department needs to have an understanding: what are the payment conditions? What are the financial agreements that you have made with this distributor? The marketing team needs to be aware how can they support them with their marketing activities. Regulatory affairs might have to help them registering the products in that country, have to provide them with other legal documents. And last but not least, sales needs to be involved, of course. Then on the right side, you see all the different resources that you need to have ready. And it sounds very logical to have all these materials available, like the marketing materials and the product information, operational materials, legal documents like CE certificates, ISO certificates, the training on complaint handling. But the difference is, if you have this structurized, for example, if you have a website with a login section for your distributor, that they can easily access all these materials and have the latest revisions available, starting from day one, you make that whole onboarding process very smooth. And the advantage is that once you have this set up within your company, for the first distributor to enroll, the second and the third and the fourth distributor will go just as smoothly, and it will save you time in the execution of onboarding distributors. So that is the crucial first step. The second step is, and let me move to the next slide, is legal and contract. You need to have a distribution contract that is clearly outlining the expectations that you have from each other. And this goes both ways. You want to protect your own business, that it's very clear on what are the obligations and how many products do they need to buy from you on a yearly basis, on a quarterly basis, what are the prices, what are the discounts, what are the financial terms. But you also need to make sure that your distributor remains in compliance with your quality requirements, but also with the legal requirements. For example, with the new MDR, there are a whole section on the requirements for a distributor. You want to make sure in your distribution contract that you have that covered. And at the same time, the distributor needs to feel protected as well. That, for example, when your company is doing extremely well and you're working towards an exit, the distributor will not want to lose his market share, or at least get a reimbursement for that. So those are the kind of topics that you should include in your distribution contract. Then the next step is training. It's extremely important for your distributor to be trained on all the aspects of your product. It starts with, of course, the product training. Does that sound familiar? That you prepare a training. And Sanjay, I can imagine that at Rayblock, you have a lot of training on the specifics on how to utilize your products, on how to implement and install your devices. So having a good product training on the product specification, that's the start. But the second step is clinical training, because a lot of medical devices are for specific medical situations. And it will require the distributors to speak with doctors, with surgeons, with nurses. So they need to be aware of the anatomy, of the specifics of the disease, of the clinical studies, and of the results of your products. So you need to train them on all those clinical aspects. And then last but not least, you also need to train them on how to sell and position your product. What is the competition? What are the unique selling points of the competition? What are your own unique selling points? How can you differentiate from the competition? And it's important to develop a training structure that you can easily go through with each new distributor, but also every now and then you want to have a renewal training. You want to sit down again with your distributor to train them on the latest insights. In certain situations where you have equipment that needs to be installed, you might also need to require an installation or servicing training for the operators working with your product. It might even be a requirement that they are certified to install your equipment. So those are training processes that you need to prepare and have ready for your distributors. And then once you've done that, the next step is grow together. And a lot of companies, because what I've just pictured, the pillar 1 and pillar 2 on finding distributors and growing distributors is about finding new distributors. But most companies already have sales. And what they're complaining about is, yeah, I have this distributor, but he's not really working hard for my product. I would like to be on his priority number 1, but he's not there. And sometimes they're coasting you, you're not hearing from them. That's real stuff that I hear all the times. I was one of the CEOs in our masterclass last Thursday stated, yeah, I have a new distributor in Spain. He signed the contract, but ever since the last 3 weeks, I haven't heard anything from him. He's not returning my calls. He's not returning my emails. Marcel, what should I do? So that is crucial to have to grow together. So let's dive in. What can you do to make sure that your distributors are actively promoting and pushing your product in the market? The first step is the marketing plan. Most companies have a marketing plan. I'm sure that you have marketing plans in place for your products as well, right? So most likely that's a marketing plan for the whole world or for the whole continent. Have you ever considered creating a marketing plan together with your distributor as a joint effort? Sit down with them, write down a strategy on how you will position your product in their country, because their country is unique. You have their own unique culture. They have unique reimbursement and insurance policies. The hospitals might be unique in the way they're working. So your marketing plan should be tailored to that. And the benefit of creating a marketing plan together with your distributor is that it creates transparency. It is very clear from both parties what the expectations are and what it takes to execute it. So starting to write a marketing plan together with your distributor is step number 1. Then step number 2 is have regular review meetings, implement dashboards. In your contract, you have agreed upon certain volumes, certain targets, certain milestones. So you want to keep a finger on the pulse for measuring where are we. And you should send out at least quarterly a report showing, hey, these are the number of products that you did. These were the average sales prices. This is what's happening in the market. And the distributor should inform you about the state of the market over the last 3 months. When you're creating such a report together, you can have review meetings. And in those review meetings, you sit down and you go through your plans. And that's where you go back to your marketing plan, to your marketing strategy. Hey, this is what we agreed. Where are we? Are we on track? How is the market changing? What is the competition doing differently than what we expected? And by documenting those review meetings every quarter, it's also very clear for both parties what the expectations are for the next quarter. This morning, I was speaking with a CEO that is growing his business with 50% this year. And that 50%, most of it is coming from his existing distributors. And he and I, we're working on a plan to boost his business. And he has one distributor that's not performing. But by the fact that he was documenting his quarterly reviews on paper, it is easy to go back to the distributor and say, hey, you have this exclusive distributorship with us, but I'm taking away the exclusivity because you're not delivering according to what we agreed upon. You are far behind with the numbers. And in the last 4 quarterly meetings, we have discussed action items which did not result in more sales. So unfortunately, I have to reduce the scope of the contract and find other distributors. So I'm not taking away the distributorship, but I'm taking away the exclusivity and will find other distributors in other regions of your country. So that's the benefit of having these review meetings. And of course, this is an example of sales falling behind. But in an ideal situation, you identify in these meetings, what are the possibilities? Where do you see opportunities? What are the barriers that you're currently facing? And together with your distributor, you can define action items, how to address these and how to grow your market. So then the next step is ongoing support. From these meetings that you will have, you will learn that they will say, okay, I have this new hospital. They might want to use the product, but I have a hard time convincing the doctor or convincing the purchasing agreement. And you might want to join the distributor on hospital visits. Another way might be, yeah, this doctor is interested, but he would like to participate in a clinical trial. And your distributor could have a role in that. Another way is scheduling distributor meetings, where you bring the distributors from the various countries into workshops where you do hands-on training, where you do demonstration cases. Maybe you invite a doctor to bring in and speak about the cases that he did and how he used your product to solve situations. So there are a lot of ways to further support the distributors. And the last one is financial support. If you really want to grow fast, your distributor needs to have the strength to grow with you. Does that sound familiar? It might cost quite some money to invest in inventory, and you might want to help him with financial support. And that's a whole different business where also your finance department comes in. Can you give him other credit conditions? Can you give him an extended credit line or different payment terms? Can you lease equipment to them? Can you start using consignment inventory? There are different ways of helping your distributor grow by giving him or her financial support. So that in a nutshell are the 3 pillars in your business. Find the right partner. And even if you already have current distributors, just the fact of by identifying your ideal customer profile might realize okay, I already have this long-lasting relationship in a certain country, but these are the parts and elements that I'm missing, that I'm lacking in the performance of this customer. It doesn't really match with my ideal customer profile. So let's have a conversation. Let's see how we can work on that together with the distributor. The second pillar, facilitate success. And that's facilitate success of new distributors, but also of your existing customer base. Because the training, the ongoing training is something that you need to keep investing in. And the last pillar of growing together. So I've given you a lot of information. This might feel like drinking from a fire hose that I gave you a lot of information. So let me ask you a question. Would you like to continue the conversation right now with me on how you could implement this? And I don't see any faces right now on the video, so I assume that's a yes. So let me continue then with introducing how we try to help medical device companies with these 3 pillars. We have this masterclass on medical device distribution. We have created 6 modules to help you build, run, and scale your business. The first module is all about defining the landscape, defining your ideal customer profile, and how to find distributors. And in module 2, we teach you how to do the due diligence. How do you screen your distributors? And then in module 3, it's all about onboarding. What should you put in a contract? We give you a full and ready distributor contract that you can tailor to your needs. And we give you a framework on setting up a training program for your product, covering product specifications, covering clinical elements, and the sales benefits. And then in module 4, we go into detail on how to write a marketing plan together with your distributor. The dashboards, the monitoring, and the review meetings, those are being described in module 5 of our masterclass. And we finish with a lot of ideas and suggestions for further partner support and to help them financially. And I mentioned you can follow these lessons in only 6 weeks, because we have made them available on your laptop, but also on your mobile phone. So even when you're in commute, you can listen to the video training and you can follow these courses. And every module is packed with video tutorials, with white papers, with readers, with real-life case studies, with download customizable reports, frameworks, contracts, flow charts, and SOPs. So a lot of materials that you can use to implement these into your company. Then this is the masterclass. You can follow and take that on your own. But the real benefit comes from doing this together with other CEOs, with other founders, with other sales directors in the online masterclass. Every other week, we have an online masterclass where I give a presentation on a topic that is not included in the masterclass, but that goes a level deeper on detail. Like this week, I covered the topic on sanctions. And 2 weeks ago, I covered a lot of detail on how does the medical device regulations impact distributor management. So that's additional value that we're offering in the online masterclasses. But the best thing is you are there with other people that are in the same situation as you are in the medical device industry. So it's a kind of a mastermind group with other CEOs and founders that share business cases, that share Q&A, and that help each other, keep each other accountable as well on the progress and the growth of the company. So now the question to you, how is your company doing in relation to the 3 pillars? How are you doing? And what I'm offering you is a free assessment. Let's schedule a call where I will work with you to assess how is your company doing with respect to the 3 pillars that we went through, and where are the ways of improving them. And you can easily book a call by just scanning this link, or send me a direct message on LinkedIn. And then I have another bonus for you, because you stay till the end, and that's the masterclass on how to maximize your success at MedTech events. This is a whole masterclass on how you can benefit from going to the Medica, or going to Hospitara, or going to Arab Health, and make sure that you find the right distributors. You can use this QR code to go to the link and get there.